You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Villante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
Hey everyone, this is Ken Villante with the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast, and I am very excited to have the creative talent behind Swinewomb, which is a play that's going to be at the West End Theater in New York City, incredible New York City, August 22nd, 23rd, 2026. And to chat today about this work, we have Julia Ordway, Carter Williams, and creator and primary talent behind the production, Reese Villella. I wanted to welcome each one of you onto the show. Welcome to Something Rather Than Nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have a group. Going into recordings, I'm used to chatting with one person, and then I love like a group and talking about a group, particularly when you're in the midst of like making something. And I appreciate your time as you're pulling this together. And let's talk about it with the energy of, okay, Swinewomb. What's going on with this play? I know there's a zine. We'll talk about that later, but the play's coming up. I mentioned the date. What is Swinewomb? I saw Gothic. You had me. I was sold right there. Tell us what's going on with this production.
Yes, Swinewomb is a Southern Gothic horror story. It's a full-length play, and we did it previously, December 2025, at the Red Pavilion, which is like a cabaret kind of club in Brooklyn. And yeah, now we're taking it to Manhattan at the West End Theater next week, which is very exciting and terrifying at the same time.
It's nice. It's nice to catch you. As you're pulling this together in the big production, and of course, the voice you heard was Reese Villella. And just wanted to bounce over to Julia and say hello. And if you could just like mention like your work in relation to the Swinewomb production.
Yeah, I play Shiloh. She's going through a lot. Carter plays my brother. Then there's some other characters who come in and out. She's a heavy role, a big lift of acting, but it's fun and a story that I think we all agree that needs to be told, and we're telling it in a really intense way, and it's fun. But audiences need to be ready for what we're about to do on stage.
Yeah, I love that lead in. There's something I've been lucky enough to drop into Broadway and off-Broadway productions just through the show and relationships that I have, and it's been really nice to be able to connect with like the energy of like of what's going on right now. Could you pull us into the context of, and I'm going to bounce back to Reese, and I'll pull you in, Carter, in a minute, but about where this idea comes from and just how do you get it to the stage? You're in New York City. That's impressive, right? Like you got it on stage. Like idea to how this thing is going to happen August 22nd, 23rd. Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, Swinewomb began as a one-act play that I wrote my senior year at NYU and then produced the summer after I graduated, so around like July 2025. And then I had been working on the full-length version for a while. After writing the original one-act, I just felt really passionately about the story, and it really resonated with me. Like I felt very strongly that there was a world to be explored here and to elaborate on and to bring in other characters and just get really into the lore. You know, I like to do some lore building, some world building.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I wrote it last summer. We did it in December, and yeah, we just wanted to do it on a bigger scale for more than one night only, which is what our last run was. And yeah, really just remount the production as best we could and bring in more people.
Yeah, excited for you. Carter, you play Shiloh's, a great name, love the name Shiloh, Shiloh's brother. You tell us a little bit about, how you come to be in this role, a little bit of your background, and in particular about the role, like what it was like inhabiting that space.
Yeah, for sure. I play Ellis, which is Shiloh's brother. And he's a lot, he's doing a lot of things that are questionable behavior, you could say. A lot of things he's doing to others, which is, not something that I like to do in the world, but it's a character, and you got to do that sometimes to get the story forward. But the way I got into it through Reese, me and Reese, we worked together at NYU, first on one of her other shows called Dinner with the Headmistress, and then we continued to collaborate through there. And then she wrote the one-act version of this show, which was called Putting Grass, and there's a cat right here. And
so cat friendly. Hold up, so
Yay.
cat friendly. This show is completely cat friendly. I got 3 of them running around. I always interrupt the show.
Oh my god!
You win
Love
us over.
her.
You win us over. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But going back to your character.
Yes. And so then when we did it the first time, I don't think there was names for the characters, but
Correct. Yeah.
essence of the characters were still very much there. And it was very exciting to like jump into people that are really not like they are from the South. They have different accents than us, and they're just very different than the way Julia and I are in real life, I would say, which is exciting to always play that. And then also, Reese always writes exciting work that I love to join in. So it's a good collaboration.
I love that. One of the things I want to, I saw you mention NYU, and sometimes I like just ask a question about like what the experience was like there. Like when I'm talking to folks from a city or a music scene, or like you from that kind of academic, very like prestigious academic background, what was it like, your experience? And anybody could speak to this as far as coming right out of that, the learning, what you were able to inhabit art space within NYU, because it's got to be so formative, at least in my head, for you.
I think that spending 4 years, you've got the school and the city kind of behind you. And so that the second that you leave, you kind of already know, you've been on the streets, you've explored. And so it is scary to not have the to be able to fall back on school. But I mean, we've all collaborated and met through NYU. And so to take that out of that school setting and then be able to do the same work, but on just like a much different scale, is the most exciting thing to be able to do. And in the city that we've kind of grown up in our college years, to just be able to keep doing that is a blessing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I come to art in a very different way. I didn't go to art school or anything. Like I developed things on my own. I studied like the theory of art, and I started painting later in life and started like deliberately creating things. So I have a fascination with like doing like art, not say art school, or creating through that time. So I always ask, and one of my favorite mangas is Blue Period, which is just a detailed experience of going through Japanese art school. And there's like 15 volumes. So it's like, that's kind of why I asked the question too, because I'm always fascinated, like at different points of how we develop things. Like I started painting at 45. What if whatever I wanted to do was earlier? It's just something you think about as a philosopher. Maybe that's why I have the show. The zine related to Swinewomb. I love zines, so a personal curiosity. Reese, tell us about the zine and where to get it, honestly.
Yes. The zine was perhaps overly ambitious and foolish fundraising endeavor, but however, I'm very happy with the result. It was a logistically stressful experience. Like I said earlier, it's a rite of passage to be a creative in New York and to make a zine. But yeah, so it was an idea that I had for the fundraiser. I wanted to bring together a lot of creatives because I am a very like Substack pilled person. Like I love my Substack. I love I love poetry. I love short stories, and I wanted to connect people and bring people together to like write about the theme of like Americana and religion and the devil and things like that, and just contribute to this little publication and see their work in print, which a lot of people don't get to do too much. So it was really exciting, and there was a lot of great work, and it's available as an add-on for tickets. So anyone who wants to pick up a copy at the show can add it to their ticket, and it is also available through an order form in the bio on the Swinewomb Instagram.
Yeah, I like some of the zines that I have. Maybe I've gone through them recently, and it's a few years ago, and it's a distinct event that like, or a distinct performance or something, and there's something about tactile, being able to like, put your fingers on that. And I think that's such a, with the experience of the play and its uniqueness in each performance of how it's done, like there's a tactile piece that really makes sense to me. And Carter, you seem to be stoked about this zine. Tell us about like I'm excited. Like I get excited. So I recognize when somebody's excited, it's like, tell us about your connection to the zine, man. You're going to love this, right?
I mean, I bought one, supporting zines, one purchase at a time, But yeah, no, I just think it's great. Like as you said, like it's like almost like, what are those capsules, like time capsules?
Yeah.
Of like what this show is, what we're trying to tell. And it's just a lot of the people that's work in it I also know. So I just really appreciated it, and I was like, nice. And I like the word zine too. It's fun to say.
I know. It is the podcast. Well, the podcast, we're not good on the production schedule for zine. There is one issue of a zine, and I'll email it to you. And it's
I have several that I could name.
It's like, and it's the zine we made is nice, but there's one in the 7+ years of the podcast history, and so issue 2 should be coming out soon. But love the zine idea. Know there was a lot of effort and process in going through it. And hopefully, as you continue to make zines each time, it's a little bit easier. Okay, I'm going to jump over because, like, the show's conceptual, and we have to show some of our chops, like, conceptually and thinking about art and such. Like, at least I love to have those types of conversations. So I'm just going to, like, launch in. I'm going to ask you, Carter, right? Like, you're interested in art. You're an artist. Like, you create. What is art? Like, what's the big deal here?
So for me, I guess art would be like my interpretation of the thing we're trying to explore, And for me, that usually is like the acting side of it, because I am an actor. That's kind of how I approach it at first, is even when I'm reading stuff, I kind of start thinking of like, okay, how is this going to look on stage? That's also kind of a director's mind, but like, how is it going to look? How would this character sound, walk, talk, all those things. And then I also just like to really like play, have fun, find the joy in it. So for me, like art, I always try to make it really happy and joyful and fun when you can, even when you're dealing with heavy stuff. Like just try to, take it with what it is and take it seriously, but also, keep it fun, because, the world is tough enough, you got to keep everything light. I don't know if that's philosophical.
No, like, and then particularly, no, I mean, like a couple episodes ago, I was talking to an author, Rachel Vernay, and she put out a book, Prioritize Play. And it was all just like driven in on some of the things you were saying. It's like, yeah, there's all this other stuff around this, but like, go play with the Legos, go get the crayons out, like in that experimental piece of it. So like, I love the the spirit of it. Okay, I'm bouncing over to you, Julia. What the heck is art?
I've got to agree with Carter and what he says. I think art is all subjective, and so I hate when people use the term good or bad, because how do you classify that when everyone is looking at something completely different? I think that I got into art like playing in the mud at like 4 years old, and to me that's still the same art that I create with Reese and Carter in the room. I think people find their niche and they find their specifics of what, and for me as well, what Carter said, like it is acting. But I think with acting, it also comes with seeing how directors are in the room and seeing how writing changes. And I think that's all inspiring and contributes to who I am as an actor. So I don't think you can just be an actor. I think there's everything, and any creative thing you've ever done in your life is going to infiltrate on your training or your artistry. That's
Yeah. Lovely. I love talking with y'all. I really do. Reese, what's art?
Amazing. Definitely, like what Julia said, this show, in the case of this show, it's very akin to playing in the mud. But I mean, art is everything. Like it's storytelling, and it is like connection and humanity and a business. Like it's everything. I don't know, maybe it's like the producer mindset that's like it's a business, but I think storytelling through different mediums, like, you know, you can paint a canvas like entirely red with like one black splatter, and it's modern art, and like that could be like a metaphor for like climate change. Like I don't know, like it depends on the person.
Sure. Yeah.
It could be anything. Yeah.
No, I love the chat, and I think there's so many questions to try to explore of like when we refer to ourselves as an artist, or like that we're making art, that we like reflect on like what that actually means. I wanted to ask you some very specific details before going too further and not dropping in at the end about New York City is its own geography and place, but could you give like the listeners, particularly a good amount of the folks who listen in the New York City area, the very specific details about the performances of Swinewomb coming up?
Yeah, we open on the 22nd. We have a 7:30 p.m. show at the West End Theater, which is also called The Wet, in Upper West Side. And we also have a matinee Sunday the 23rd at 2:30 p.m. and then another evening show at 7:30 p.m.
Wonderful. Reese, I'm going there. Let's pretend I'm walking in to the first performance. I'm seeing certain things. I'm seeing the stage. What am I feeling? Like I hear Southern Gothic, but like what's, without telling everything, like what am I feeling all of a sudden when I'm stepping into your space?
I have been describing the experience of Swinewomb to be your feelings during the show. Like you will maybe be a little disgusted, a little thrilled, maybe a little disturbed, but also having the time of your life. Like it will shock you and gross you out, but it will also be the most fun you have at a theater this summer.
Well, that's the type of ticket I buy. We're recording here over on the West Coast in Salem, Oregon. I'm originally from Rhode Island, and so I do love the city. I am a Red Sox fan, so when it gets into the baseball stuff, the Yankees and stuff, I just like, hey, I love New York City. Let's not talk baseball. at all. But it's great to hear about this this upcoming performance. I wanted to ask. I'll start with you, Reese, and I ask both of you too. As far as a point that came up, I'm thinking literature, and I'm thinking influence, the things that influence like your thinking, and you had mentioned poetry, Reese, and I was just wondering some of the creators, not necessarily behind what leads to Swine Womb, but like
Right.
creators that have that like impact on you that you're excited like talk about, poets, playwrights, writers.
Absolutely, yeah. I really resonate and am a fan of the new French extremity movement in film. It's one of the biggest influences on
Tell us
my
about
work.
it. Tell us about it.
Definitely one of the biggest influences on my work for stage and screen. I find body horror and sensory, visceral horror to be really effective and something that I'm passionate about and that I think is important. I really admire Julia Ducournau, the filmmaker who made Titan and Raw, and most recently Alpha. I really admire Gaspar Noé. I would like to be the girl version of Gaspar Noé if I can get to that level. But yeah, I think a lot of like extreme horror and things of that nature are really where I find the most like truth and resonance. So that is what I look up to and what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, there's just on the show, it covers a lot of territory and things that I've done, but like I talk a lot. I culturally, like my partner and I go out dancing at a goth club like every other weekend, and there's a lot of goth culture in Portland. But horror, I've had some scream queens on the show. But one author I was really thinking of when you were talking about is Elle Nash, and she did a book called Deliver Me, seen as like a literary it girl, that kind of like sexiness and appeal around that piece, and she is that, but extreme body horror and the set in like West Virginia, like woman who works at a slaughterhouse, like these like really Elle Nash, Deliver Me. But thanks. Like sometimes like as creators, like I love to hear like the things that kind of electrify us, like from writing. Julia, what about that for you that light you up, like playwrights, writers, like poets that get you going?
I think for me, I fell in love with Elizabeth Barrett Browning as a poet. I thought the way that she wrote was just beautiful, but also she has a way that she's writing about really intense things, similar to how our show is as well, where there's so much underneath what the words are said, and then she comes out and she just says it. And I think that's what we do. So she was inspiring to me for years. She has been. And I think female poets to me have the most beautiful minds. I think female writers too. And so working with Reese that's the inspiration. Reese is as well.
Yeah. Love the poetry connection. Carter, what gets you going reading wise?
I feel like I do a lot of like watching and viewing more than reading. For me, like a lot of like, I feel like last year, like my top movies were like Hamnet and One Battle After Another I loved. And then also like there was a movie a few years ago, Close, that I always go back to. It was like a Belgium film. I saw it. I was studying abroad in London a few years ago, but it's about these like two boys. I forget who wrote it and directed it, but it was really good. But then like, I don't know. I watch a lot of like pop culture, pop movies. So like, I don't know, like I don't know any of these fancy names a lot, that Reese is saying all these French, but like for me, I just think it's so inspiring seeing like anyone who has success in like what they do. Like, it's just really awesome. Like for me, like
performance, right? Yeah. The performance.
You get it and you're going and like making it happen. Like that's the goal and that's the dream. And like, however I can help people to do that as well is kind of my MO. So that's what I want to be able to do.
Oh, absolutely lovely and incredible. I got to tell you, when I saw some of the materials and the advanced materials you have for Swine Womb, just loved it. Like I said, for my own personal, and the promise of scandal is attractive. The promise of like the subversive, because like if there's something that Gothic is about for me is like just subversive, whether it's creeping and slow or it's just it twists things up, and I really love that space. I'm going to throw out the big question of the show because I always ask the big question of the show, which sometimes is thought to be nonsensical. But I'm going to open it up to like each one of you, and at least one person take a stab at why is there something rather than nothing.
Carter, I think you have to take this one away.
Carter gets it.
Why is there something rather than nothing? To me, my immediate thought is like, similar to like why I'm you got to try, because if you don't try, there's nothing. At least there's something. You're putting something forward, and if you don't do that, it's just nothing. And what's life if there's nothing? I don't know. Like
there's something like that's the nub of the question that comes up a lot, and that's the nub of it. Like in the doing, in the creating, that there's something. I'm not saying that's the answer, right? Like nobody knows for sure, and maybe it's not but no, I like that's why I kick it around. You all want. I got to tell you one funny part about that question. So it's like an annoying question because philosophers like. There's an annoying part of philosophers. That's why they killed Socrates. And like, so the piece about like asking that question, only once have I let a guess. So back when I was younger, there was this show, American Gladiators. And if you look back at the video footages, it came out in the 90s, and I fucking loved the show. And it was like, dangerous battle with each other and joust and everything like that. And there was a strong woman, and her name was Ice, on the show. Well, anyways, I remember this from my younger days, and I got Ice on the podcast. And now I'm a little bit intimidated because Ice could pick me up and snap me in half. And so I'm talking to her. I said, Ice, here's the thing. You're the only guest I've ever offered this to. You can answer the question, why is there something rather than nothing, or you can tell me to fuck off. And she told me to fuck off. So I don't give that option to everybody, but because it was Ice, I let her out. Thanks for kicking that one around. Anything, throw in something else about Swine Womb. I'm excited for it. If there's any way in the universe I can make it out to the city that I love out there, New York City, I'll try to make it. But anything else on Swine Womb before we close it out?
I think that going back to what Reese was talking about with how you'll feel when you walk in, I think this show will make you uncomfortable. And my favorite thing is when art does that, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. And so I think that if anyone comes see it and they walk away and they feel like physically don't feel good, I think that we did our job to show them that you need to feel uncomfortable for anything to change.
Wow. Yeah. She got it. We're going out. We're going to go out on that. We're going to go out. We're going to. Awesome. It has been like really great to connect with each one of you. And like I said, in a period where you're busy and, nervous and ready to put like this big thing on, best of luck to you. Really excited. And folks, as you're listening to this episode, particularly those in that New York City area, check out Swine Womb and support, live theater. So important nowadays. And so everybody, Swine Womb, thanks for the creative cast here. And like I said, best of luck to Swine Womb.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing.